Let me ask you what your thoughts were when Aaron was out there in the lead and you were running second. Did you feel at the time that you had enough to run him down and get around him?
Yeah, I mean, early on I was just kind of, if he ran the bottom of 1 and 2, I'd run the top. If he ran the bottom of 3 and 4, I tried the top early a few times. I kind of we had the caution, and then we kind of redid again, and I checked the top of 1 and 2 just to see if the bottom was making ground on the top. And then same thing in 3 and 4, kept searching across there, which is also the good thing for, being the guy in second. You get to move around and see if you're gaining on a guy in front of you or not. So I was kind of just trying to figure out where the best approach would be to try to run him down. I knew probably about lap 10, once we got restarted and actually going green, that we had enough to gain on him and catch him, and then it was going to be just basically how we caught traffic, how things went. And I felt like, if I pressured him a little bit, I'd make him overdrive the top. And, and honestly, that's exactly what he did. I think he saw me in the bottom of 1 and 2, the lap that he did mess up in 3 and 4 there. And
right.
I think he probably drove into 3 and 4 a little harder than he had, and kind of tripped up in the curb a little bit. And, we were able to get by him. And then after that, it was just basically, for me, just managing the race.
Yeah, it seemed like to me, Sam, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I might be, but it seemed like the track was really fast all weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean they kept it, they kept a little more moisture in it than we're used to seeing there, which honestly probably played more into his hands than mine. But I knew that either way we were going to have to, if the track ended up that way, we were going to have to figure out a way to make our car work good in those situations, and we did that. I felt like, it's definitely a different racetrack than we're used to seeing, but it wasn't anything that we couldn't handle.
Right, yeah, no doubt about it. They had that little rough spot down there in 3. How did that affect you? Because I know that you said after the race that you didn't have brakes. When did you lose your brakes? Do you know what lap about you lost your?
They were just slowly fading all race.
Yeah.
Just because we had our throttle was sticking is why we lost them. Pretty much burning them up all the way through the corners, trying to trying to get the car to slow down, which honestly hurt us in the bottom of 3 and 4. That's kind of why I moved up to the middle, because I couldn't get it slowed down enough to really rotate and run around the bottom the way I needed to. Even in 1 and 2, it was like that. So
yeah,
I knew I had to make a change in the race car to combat my problem, and what fixed it was actually the middle groove in 3 and 4. I don't think the middle groove was good for everybody.
Yeah,
but it was good for me in the circumstance I had, because like I say, once you dump throttle, you couldn't get it to slow down enough. So we just, we burned the brakes up doing that. And I think as the race went on, they slowly faded. And then actually you don't really notice you don't have any brakes until you actually get to the scales and you're trying to really use them to get stopped,
right.
and you don't have any. So
yeah,
it was one of those things where, luckily we got in the right spot at the right time and took advantage of his mishap in 3 and 4. And then, like I say, got in there and just managed my race from that point on.
All right, so I'm going to bring up what you said after the race. You kind of talked a little shit on Aaron Reitzel a little bit. I want you to take me through the sequence of events and why you brought that up in Victory Lane. Can you do that for me?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, honestly, it's not just from one occurrence with him. It's several,
right.
And it's not just me. It's a lot of guys, around. He has a bad reputation for running into people and things like that. And like what led up to that, I guess, after I watched the video a couple of times, I've been running the bottom, the middle of 3 and 4 and running the top of 1 and 2 pretty consistently, probably, ever since I'd passed him. I'd run the bottom of 1 and 2 a couple of times, but, not very often. Like if I had to pick at that point in the race, I was going to the top of 1 and 2. And I honestly think that, he knew I was coming up. He always, he does that to a lot of people. He clips guys in the right rear. He does a lot of malicious things inside a race car, and just after a while, you just get tired of it. It just,
Yeah.
it's, a lot of guys have been fed up with it for a long time, and, it's just a situation where, a lot of guys get fed up with it, and, we came out on top, and, we were able to call them out on it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So this being the last short track nationals, I'm sure you were highly motivated to try to win this race because everybody wants to win the last one, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody, when you get guys like us up front, I mean, we're motivated to win no matter what. But that being the last one, and that being such a, I don't know, like I've raced there at that track probably more than the only other track I maybe raced at anymore was, Devil's Bowl.
Right.
And
yeah.
honestly, like to see that place go and felt like I should have won that race so many times, and we'd only won it once.
Right.
It definitely put a little more out there for me. I mean, and like for like an Aaron situation, he'd never won it. So, I think in the feature you had the two guys that probably wanted to win it more than anybody else running 1-2, and I don't think you could ask for a better race than that in that situation.